And we're live. How's everyone doing? We have made it. Well, we made it to the end game. Now we're in like the post credit end game, which I missed. I missed the credits. I'm sorry. I know there was sounds. There was something else that I missed. I should have watched the entire thing to the end, but I digress because we're going to be talking about Infinity War and Endgame. Well, I guess like touching on Infinity War because we didn't do a live stream for that because that kind of leads into Endgame and. But I have some awesome people hanging out with me today. Mr. John from John's Comics with Kids.
What's up?
How you doing, Mr. John?
I'm doing all right, man. This is fun. I get to talk about Marvel movies. This is gonna be a blast.
Heck yeah. And then we also got someone who just woke up after an all-night bender, TK from TK's Batcave. I'm just kidding.
That was so horrible.
He's still drinking.
Oh,
He's
man.
still drinking.
He's
I
still
did not-
smacking him back.
I did not just wake up. For your information,
Uh,
I've just been around the world. Now I'm back again.
There you go. And we have some awesome people in the chat. So before we dive into the conversation, I want to say hello to some people. Let's see. Why are you doing this instead of putting up our promo? It's going to come out tomorrow. I'm going to watch it tonight, actually. Well, I'm going to rewatch it tonight. So don't worry. It will be coming out. You should have watched the end credits. Yeah, big mistake. I know. I apologize. I'm sorry. There was tributes to all the Avengers at the end. It was an Easter egg. So I went back and watched Endgame last night, and I when I watched it on the couch, I just waited, and then I've seen everything happen. It was really cool. That was a cool thing to have at the end of that movie. What up, Mo? Dude's talking comics. We also got Mr. Fatal J, the AKA Snyder Cut expert. How's it going, Mr. J? Riley, you never, every main Avenger had their signature at the end. Yeah, that was pretty cool to see. I like, what's his name? Chris Hemsworth?
Mhm.
That's the guy who plays Thor, right?
Thor.
Yeah. I liked his. That was really cool. Wanda was my favorite part of the movie. She's having her own TV show, right? Wanda and Vision, which is cool. I'm looking forward to that.
That's gonna be awesome.
Let's see. When will reactions go? It should be up maybe tonight or tomorrow morning. Who knows? Been more than a year and people are still watching Endgame. Let's just make sure we put the stones back to preserve the timeline. Thanos and more gone. Changing the timeline. Yeah. So I do have a few questions about that. Let's see. Can I wait up here while I have work in the morning? I know what the answer should be. Who wants to go to work? John is rocking my hat. Hey, that is true,
was.
mister.
Yeah, man.
Oh, then my chat's jumping around now. Great. Let's see. We got Ruben here. How's it going, man? We got Master. How you doing? Woo. How's it going? We got Mr. Justin. How's it going, man? Let's see. TK doesn't look like he's been on a bender. No, I'm just messing with him.
Hard to
We got Comic Book Sal. How you doing, man? Hope everything's going well. How's it going? Hello. YouTube is 90. I like to shout out everybody in the chat. We also have Mr. Let me see if I got him right here. Mr. John G. Who actually gave me an A-OK of some whiskey that I'm going to be trying today. This Barrel Dovetail. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to be pouring up a glass shortly. If I start choking or coughing, you can blame him.
I guess they like you better drunk.
Hey, man. Everyone deserves a good whiskey every now and then, right? So yeah, let's get into it. So Infinity War was the setup for.
It sucked. Oh,
TK, you said that was your favorite one out of the two.
my favorite MCU movie. Yes, Infinity War. It definitely. It was my first experience in a superhero film that really got me to the point like, wow, we lost the fight.
Yeah.
We lost.
Yeah.
That's it. We lost. And there was a lot of moments that there's some cool moments in comic books that are like that as well, in story arcs as well. But then, they pick up the following. But I feel like in films, it's mostly like, hey, the superhero, the good guys are never going to lose. Like, and that's an aspect. And we knew that there was going to be a part 2. But either way, it was just that feeling and that sad moment and the silence, the roar of Captain America, and then he's questioning then everybody, and it's like I felt like I knew obviously what happened, and then you see the characters just not understanding, and you're like, yo, that's it.
Dude, when Black Panther reached down to pick her up, and then his hand turned to dust, like the breath left my body because I was like, Like it just, I couldn't even fathom that was happening at that time.
Well, and I will say, like for audiences going into that movie who had been like so invested all the way along, everybody went in with this feeling like, yeah, Captain America's going to probably bite it. Everybody's attitude was like they were like, it's got to be Iron Man, it's got to be Captain America, and then they showed in the trailers Thanos' glove and Captain America's holding on to it, like trying to like fight him, and everybody's like, oh, Captain America's going down, he's going to die. And I think the sucker punch was they killed off all the characters who had coming up movies, right? They killed off the Black Panther, the Doctor Strange, the Guardians. They really went out of their way to kill the people that we didn't see coming in the end of Infinity War. And that was what was kind of an awesome sucker punch, I thought, of that whole movie. Such
a perfect setup. I all the credit goes to these MCU creators, the whole universe, these 10 years. I can't, that's it. It because it goes down as one of the craziest classic films ever, especially for us that we are comic book fans. That like, it's crazy.
Now
I actually bought this comic so that I could have. I don't want to have a T-shirt.
You don't have the shirt and I have the book, of course. You know.
So I had Black Panther 1, but I ended up buying Black Panther 2 just so that I was like, I got it now.
I don't own any Marvel shirts at the moment, but eventually I might. Everything I own is DC. I always get comments, why are you wearing the Joker right now? Why are you wearing Superman?
Got him.
You know, I'm like, I'm sorry. So I rewatched Endgame on Saturday and Infinity War on Friday, and one of the coolest parts in Infinity War is when Thanos comes and he's marching towards Vision and everyone's coming at him and he's just like throwing everyone to the side. When he picks up the Hulkbuster and throws him into the wall and he like blends into the wall and is just stuck, that blew my mind away.
That's cool.
Like how the creativity they put into like these.
Hey Bruce,
it was insane.
To the Hulk, but you're not moving. All right, you're not getting out of that rock in that suit. That's it.
Well, and I think also like what they did was show us that like Thanos knows how to use each of the stones right? Yeah. At different moments, he creates an alternative reality to trick the Guardians, right? He completely tears apart different characters using different stones in different ways. And right up to when you feel like, wow, like Wanda destroyed Vision and the stone, like she saved the day. And he's like, no, I can just back up time and
brought
start
it back
all over again and get that stone I wanted. And
very different from the comic book storyline. When it comes to that, because he was unknown about it. He did not.
I haven't read the book, so can you explain?
It was like it had more to do with what's her name, Lady Death, Sith Death, whatever Death,
Lady Death. It's the goddess of death, which a lot of people were predicting that Hela, Thor's sister, would show up here as the goddess of death in this, because there's always that ongoing story where
that's what I thought.
Thanos is in love with death and wants to sort of marry her, and he's doing some of this to win her love and affection.
That was the whole thing. The whole thing was that she gave him like a task. She said this needs to be done, and you would win. It was like, as John was saying, trying to prove to her. So that's what he did in the comic books, and he actually gathered around, searched for these gems, and there was very iconic moments, like the crash down from who was it? Who crashed down? The Hulk. When he crashed down into Doctor Strange's place. That in the comics was Silver Surfer.
But that exact moment happened. That exact camera angle, like shot of the destroyed staircase.
That's cool.
And there's Doctor Strange looking down on the stairs, like what's going on, and there's Silver Surfer lying there, just like Hulk.
That's pretty awesome. I kind of want to go back and read that. Like you guys are naming people that aren't in the movie, so like now I kind of like I want to see who else was in this.
It's as crazy as Civil War in the comics. So many superheroes were involved. So many villains were involved.
Bigger. All the X-Men, like it's just way bigger.
Which don't get me wrong.
It doesn't. Honestly, I think the movies are better in this particular case. That's just me. Like I feel like the comic Infinity Gauntlet is so. Infinity War is maybe I don't know. They're both about the same for me. These movies are far superior in my opinion.
Make sure you guys talk about the Hulk was not afraid of Thanos. I got that impression.
I want to get into this whole topic of Hulk because I will say across both films, the biggest complaint that I heard from fans was that Hulk never gets to shine
I was one of them
in these movies. Like that, he kind of gets shown up at the beginning of Infinity War, never really amounts and does anything. They even teased in the trailer, and you didn't really spot it, that Hulk is running through Wakanda to fight in the trailer.
But yeah, and then I really, he's in the suit.
No, he's
Bruce Banner.
He's actually Hulk. And they just took that out,
and they changed it. And then of course in an Endgame, he never gets his rematch with Thanos, and a lot of people were pissed about that. A lot of people were like, "Wait, where?" You even said it while you were doing the watching of Endgame. I'm waiting for Hulk to have his rage and get in his fight.
Yeah,
and it never happens.
Because I was reading what was it, World War Hulk.
Okay.
Where like the angrier he gets, like the stronger he gets.
Right.
So I was like, all right, we're gonna see Hulk smash out, and so is this like a mixture between like Gray Hulk, like this new Hulk that's an Endgame? I don't understand the mixture between. Is that Professor Hulk? I don't understand.
That's what people are calling him. It's Professor Hulk, which there's a first appearance of that character as well that kind of popped. I know he does the snap, John G. I know he does the snap, but he never gets his showdown, his rage fight. And I think that's kind of my at least my big frustration. I know a lot of Hulk fans were really bummed that they wanted angry Hulk. They wanted angry Hulk.
And then you take away the credit of the snap with Iron Man did the ultimate snap. You get me? So it's like, when I saw the film, I was one of those guys that was like, yo, when the first scene, and I saw Perry's reaction, and I was like, yo, he's about to fall into the first scene where the Hulk is fighting Thanos one-on-one. Thanos gives him the hands. But in the back of your mind, you're like, all right, well, the Hulk he's not dead, and somehow he's gonna come back and he's gonna fight. And it was just weird throughout both films that I could see myself as a big Hulk fan and being angry. You get me?
I don't understand why didn't he come back? We seen him trying to come out, and he was just like, no. So that's what gave me the impression that he was scared.
He said,
like he had like PTSD from freaking Thanos killing him, or almost killing him, like that was insane.
He was like, let it happen. No. Let's get stuck in the rock. But I forgot the misconception about that.
Thank you for the super chat, by the way. I think they missed out on years. Perfect post credit. I saw singing harmony with Thanos, "Dust in the Wind."
That would have been very amusing.
Oh man, that's pretty funny.
I think with Hulk, there's lots of ways to look at it, and they never definitively sort of said. And so that, like John G is saying, or was it Mo? There's lots of ways to look at what's going on with the Hulk. I think definitely a lot of people were saying he was scared of Thanos. I think the other way to look at it is, I think the relationship between the two characters of Bruce and the Hulk were slowly fleshing out and being like they were still abusing one another in ways, right? Like you do this job and I'll do that job. And when he wanted Hulk to come out in Ragnarok, he jumped and he landed splat and Hulk didn't come out, right?
Yeah.
Hulk has a mind of his own, and he clearly was upset that he was only being brought out to fight and not being brought out to live. Like he wasn't being given his own chance to live. And then there's a deleted scene they just recently uploaded to YouTube where they showed in Infinity War, where they come to peace with each other and Professor Hulk is sort of born. They have a scene where he basically says, "Hey, we kind of worked it out," and
that's a deleted scene.
Yeah, Black Widow runs up and hold out her hand because she sees Hulk for the first time, and she's like, "Oh, I need to calm him," and he's like, "No, we're good. We got this. Like we're together now. We can do this." Like it's this little moment, but I think it was too silly for the end of Infinity War, so they cut it.
They had a lot of silly moments, like when Hulk was at the restaurant and the kids came up to him and they wanted to take a picture. But let's not really. He's sitting next to Black Widow and Captain America, and nobody noticed. Like I don't know, it felt a little weird.
I just wanted the original Hulk. That's what I wanted.
I would have liked.
I understand everything. I understand the big picture and what they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have my boy sit out for both films. You know, as in like the Hulk. I know he put on the Infinity Gauntlet. I know he snapped for everybody. I know he brought them back. But man, wouldn't you want to see an outraged Hulk? Like I guess the best we're gonna have of the Hulk was in Thor Ragnarok.
Ooh, interesting. Crazy with some wild ideas. Mo has a great comment. He says Hulk felt used. He wanted full control. Bruce Banner wanted full control. So Hulk said, "Nah, fuck it. Figure out how to beat him without me." Then and I think that was more true than Hulk being scared.
Yeah, but that wouldn't make sense because he did fight Thanos in the first place.
Right.
Like you did fight Thanos in the first place. You got your ass whooped, and now you don't want to come out to fight because that's what we call you for. I mean, I don't know. It was weird. I see it, but it's just like, man, if I was a big Hulk fan, I would have been disappointed.
And I think I was too, because I did want to see him in that final battle really doing it. I know he was injured, but even with his like claw arm,
take my strong hand.
Right? What's that from that movie? That one take scary movie? Oh man.
But the movie was amazing. I still can't believe they pulled it off. Like, I still can't believe. I was at first I was like, man, honestly, I don't know how they're gonna bring all these characters up and have them shine in their own way. And it happened, and they made it happen. So I really enjoyed it.
I was curious what Perry would think, because obviously he's seen all of this whole saga. And I know going in, you were like, I'm more of a DC guy, but everybody's saying these movies are great. I want to see these movies in order. Like, has it changed your view of Marvel in any way?
It blows my mind away how little this makes me want to read Marvel comics. It really does. Like, I'm not interested into like I've been reading Thor. I've been enjoying Thor.
It worked in reverse, John.
But it has nothing to do with the movies. Like, I watched the movies and I thought they were great, but it doesn't give me, which is probably a lot of people, it doesn't really make me want to go to a comic book shop. It doesn't make me want to go and pick up a first appearance. It just, that was awesome. You know? I don't know, man. Like, I do like Marvel comics, you know, like Thor's been great. I'm trying to think of something else.
I wasn't saying you hate Marvel. I'm just saying you were more of a DC guy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't think you were hating on. I don't hate on DC. I have tons of DC comics.
You love Deceased.
I just don't like what DC's publishing right now.
Come on, Lazy Eye Wonder Woman's your favorite.
By the way, it's Lois Lane, but yes.
Oh, Lois Lane, sorry.
It's Lazy Eye Lois Lane. Get it right, Perry.
I'm so sorry. Let's say, hey, just watch your Endgame reaction, Perry. Love reliving this up. Yeah, you know what's crazy is out of all the movies, I haven't rewatched any of them. Like, and I was eager to see Infinity War again right after watching Endgame, and then I was eager to watch Endgame again, and it was just like same mind blowing. And for some reason, I think sitting on the couch watching it on the full screen, loud, it brought up way more emotion. Like, I was like, oh man, like I'm gonna start crying again. I can't start crying. I'm not gonna start crying. This is ridiculous. Why am I gonna cry? I already seen this. I know what's happening. Why am I feeling emotions again? They did a great job.
You said something, I think, the other day that, like, you were like, it was hard to avoid spoilers for this. So you knew what was gonna happen to Tony.
Why? I knew because I seen pictures of Tony Stark holding the snap. Yeah. That was all over like Instagram. And then that cover was like a hot book of Tony holding the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah. And then somebody told me he died, but then someone else told me that I think the same person that told me he died said that Ant-Man goes up his butt, of Thanos' butt, and then gets big and kills him. So I was like, oh, okay. Is he not dying? And then someone sent me a screenshot of Captain America actually holding the gauntlet. So I was like, whoa. Maybe I've been getting played this whole time and it's Captain America who snaps. I wasn't sure. And even if Tony died, you still like... That whole roller coaster, it doesn't even compare to like Tony died. No, it was an emotional ending, especially the funeral. Oh.
I lost it more at the dance when he got his dance. Because you even you said it in I think in each of the Captain America ones you watched. Yeah. There's a moment where you talk about their not getting their dance.
That's all he said he wanted.
Yeah,
you know, like
he got the dance with the granddaughter, didn't he?
Well, that's one way.
You know, let's not talk about that.
But that was the moment that really got me, when you see them dancing and like he gets his dance.
And that was the same music that was playing was when Nick Fury was inside of Captain America's apartment. That was the music that was playing the record player. That same song. That's crazy, dude. That he's just like his free time thinking about her. You know, like. Man, that sucks.
And visiting her and having her going through Alzheimer's and not really remembering any of their time together post freezing.
I'm kind of upset when he went back in time. Tony got to talk to his dad. Thor got to talk to his mom. Come on, he couldn't talk to her. But then they gave it to us at the end. So I'm like, all right, it's fine. Yeah, it's okay.
I thought Thor's part was sad.
Yeah.
Like you know, he was joking around and stuff like that, but his mother was gonna die that day that he was there. So
that's crazy.
That was just crazy. And she was like, no, my darling. And I was like, oh.
That scene before he meets his mother when he's with Rocket and he's freaking out and Rocket comes here and smacks him in the face. He's like, look, what is wrong with you? I lost everything. Everything is gone. My entire family is gone. And your mother's gone. They're kind of gone. We need to bring those people back. Get your shit together, Thor.
Well, you know? I think Rocket doesn't take anybody's BS. I think he's notorious for that. Let's say he has that moment in the first Guardians when he's like, "Oh, you lost your wife and daughter." Boo! He's like, and then Groot goes, oh, and he's like, "I don't care if it's mean. We all lost people." Right? That's Rocket's attitude. I think the whole time is like, "Suck it up. We've all gone through stuff. Like, let's get your shit together."
I mean, Rocket lost Groot twice.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, oh man.
This was a cool tidbit. The writers said that when Groot fades away, he says, "I am Groot" right before he fades away.
I'm your father or something, or I'm your son.
He's saying dad, like he's talking to Rocket. He's like, "Dad." And
as soon as I finished watching Endgame, I messaged TK. I was like, "Hey, we're gonna play Gears of War, so I can play some video games." That's how I decompress after a movie. I play video games.
Just uses me.
And so I'm talking to him, and I told him about, dude, you know, when Groot died, and he's like, "Oh, you know what he said, right?" And then when he told me that, I was there. I was in the middle of playing a video game, killing people, and I just started tearing up. I'm like,
I mean, if you guys don't know, every time we play, he's tearing up. So
right,
don't tell me.
That's usually because he sucks.
That's
he
true.
needs to score at that end.
Hey, I'm not the bottom though. Second
So one of the things that bugs me, the reason why I like Infinity War more, is I'm frustrated with. I feel like I don't necessarily love the time travel gimmick, and I feel like it invariably gives you just a million questions and frustrations. Right? The second you open up time travel as a toy, then it's like, okay, then every future movie, do they go and get all the stones and go backwards and fix it all and put all the stones back again? Like it's an end, and then you have to question every little moment and be like, I feel like, hey, how does this work? How does that work? This doesn't make sense.
I think they choose that just to keep the options open, just to bring this to the table and then hear the discussions and be like, oh, it would have been cool if they did this. It could, and then those are just ideas like, okay, we can make that happen if we really wanted to and stuff like that. So I think that's what they do. I do agree with you, John, about like all these questions are obviously gonna rise from this, but I just feel like they just keep it as an open book when they do films because they don't want to get stuck. They don't want to be, just hit a wall and then they can't explore.
Sure.
Anything.
I'm curious about the Soul Stone.
I didn't hate it. I just felt like it made me like this one less than Infinity War.
Yeah.
Now my question is, when Captain America went back to return Thor's hammer and the rest of the stones, what about how do you return the Soul Stone?
Because
you're giving you're giving a stone, so you should receive a soul.
Oh, you're talking about the Soul Stone. I thought you were talking about when he went to give the liquid back to Jane Foster. He had to eject her again. He had to re-inject her.
That sucks.
Right?
That's crazy. I would have liked to see that part, just like Captain America going through time and trying to give everybody all the stones back. But it's crazy because like the only way to get the stone is to give a soul. So if you were theoretically, if you were to put the stone back, you should be able to extract a soul.
Let me ask you a question. When they go back in time, is everybody still alive? Like after the snap? Because
their past selves
doesn't that restart everything? Like, hey, let me bring the stones back in time so that Thanos has another chance of getting them. But is Thanos alive or he's out of existence?
Well, and I think this is the issue with the time travel questions because I think I heard somebody say there are only two kinds of time travel movies: the ones where you can change time and the ones where you can't. And the ones where you can't, time is an endless circle and it just keeps going around and everything was meant to happen and you didn't really change time. You always did it this way, right? versus Frequency or Back to the Future, where you can clearly change it and you end up with all these alternate realities. And I don't know that Endgame definitively says it's one or the other because of all the plot holes that time travel kind of naturally creates. And you're mentioning some of the best ones that are just like, well, how does that like? So here, how about this? They killed the young Thanos. So how does old Thanos show up on Earth and actually snap in the first place in Infinity War? They killed him.
So if there's no more young Thanos, then there's no Gamora, and there's no Nebula.
Well, no, it was after he had Gamora. Right after that, they took basically the Thanos from Guardians of the Galaxy, the first film. They brought him to our time where he'd already snapped. They killed him, which means he never had a chance to snap in the first place and make us all disappear.
I mean, honestly, it could be anything could be possible. The gap between him snapping everybody out of half of everybody out of existence to the point that the Avengers come and stop him and Thor chops his head off. What did he do with that glove the whole time?
There's a ton of chat in the discussion.
There is.
I don't want to like skip by all the people.
There's a lot going. But I'm just saying, I think it's just open. I think they can do whatever.
They should do a Disney Plus series of him returning the stones.
Well, they're supposed to be doing something with the Loki TV series based on what Loki did with the Tesseract, vanished in there.
Branch reality.
And Harris says every time travel movie is bound to have plot holes, and that's kind of that's partly why I like it a little bit less. That's just it. You cannot come back, says Andre. Soul stones are forever. All sales are final in Vormir, says Benjamin Segura.
The Ancient One explained it visually. Oh,
yes, I agree.
But they have to take out the big powerhouses.
But like it doesn't make her right. That's the problem. It doesn't make the Ancient One right. Because if you read comics, the Marvel Universe has all these other dimensions with all these other timelines. Sure. So clearly you can change time and have an effect. It's hard. It's just hard to know where it all falls out in the end.
That's true. Thanos. It's funny because his name is Thanos, right? Right. It's funny because TK was saying Thanos, and you keep switching back and forth from Thanos to Thanos, and it's cracking me up.
Yeah. Chris says it as it's a multiverse time travel. You can't erase your own past. A new branch was occurring in 2014 again, and a lot of people speculate. That's when we're going to start to see Kang the Conqueror show up because he is an extra dimensional time traveling villain. And if we've now splintered into all these different multiverses, this is the villain that could come out of that on the other side.
Oh boy. Endgame explains it like this, but with my words, think of it as copy and paste. You copy a sentence and paste it at the end of the last sentence. The original still exists. That's a really good explanation, actually.
Craze says Kang is already confirmed for the Loki show. That's cool. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, how did his army get there?
Who?
Thanos. Thanos.
Didn't she bring them all through the?
Well, we only see the one ship come out, and that's it.
Maybe
and then he blows them to hell.
I don't know.
I didn't understand that part. Like that's what kind of blew me away. I was like, oh damn, he's got a whole army now, you know. And then on your left, and that just gave me chills.
Right.
Watching it again gave me even more chills. It blew my mind.
Yeah, that a lot of people mentioning in the chat that final third of the movie, the big climactic battle sequence is pretty amazing. And it is. There's some silly moments. I do agree when all the ladies all of a sudden are just next to each other for no good reason. Like that's kind of a moment where it's like, that's a little bit much maybe.
Oh, when they all congregated?
The ladies all line up and you're like, wait.
That felt weird.
Wasn't the Wasp in the back of the van helping Ant-Man like 2 seconds ago? Now she's on the other side of the battlefield with all the ladies lining up.
That felt a little forced. I was just like,
I mean, it's cool. It's cool to look at.
Yeah,
but it's a little weird. Doesn't make a lot of logistical.
It didn't really flow into what was happening.
Yo, Scarlet Witch would have taken out Thanos like it was nothing. Right. He was so scared.
Rain fire. On your own people, of course. I don't care about them. What's wrong with it? Why would you ask me that?
I won't say that I'm knocking A-Force. I think A-Force is cool, and it was cool seeing them, but it was just a little bit like forced. That was all. Just a little forced. It just felt a little off.
Ooh, it's gonna set up a multiverse.
My favorite moment had to be Avengers Assemble. Like just hearing Cap. I mean, they jokingly. I don't know if
Thor's hammer.
I don't know if you remember at the end of Age of Ultron. The last moment of Age of Ultron is him looking at the new team of Avengers and saying Avengers, and he's about to say assemble, and they cut to credits. Like it's that great line where somebody's always calling the team together, Avengers assemble, and they've never said it in any of the movies. They saved it for that moment when he's finally everybody's appeared,
big payoff
on your left, all those things, and then it's like boom,
Thor screams. He's the
Avengers assemble, right? Gets that hammer. And you even said it too. There was that moment when it's like one guy versus an army, and he's just trudging. It's just a great.
Even in Infinity War, that scene where they're running towards the wall, towards the force field, and you see Captain America and Black Panther running side by side in front of the army because they're so fast. I thought that was pretty cool.
I know you were talking at the moment when he first picks up Mjolnir. I thought Perry was telling us something. Oh my gosh, he was talking about Thor getting beat up. And they have this shot of the hammer rising, it was in the theater when people were like, "Oh my gosh, somebody's picking up the hammer! It's got to be Captain America!" Like they were like, people were freaking just seeing the hammer rise off of the ground, And then it hits Thanos and then flies back into Cap's hand, and it's like.
Well, I heard someone saying in one of the Avengers when he goes to lift it and he wiggles it, and then you just see Thor like come to attention. I think maybe it was TK or somebody, maybe it was Mo. They said he could have picked it up then, but he didn't want to do that for Thor. So let him keep his ego.
The word that he could have picked it up at that point, he just didn't.
Yeah,
he was worried.
Thor even says in that moment when he's like laying there all bloodied, he's like, "I knew it."
Yeah, I knew it. He did move my hammer. Oh man, Thor got his butt whooped too.
He did.
Sure, his big home base. He has a lot of armies.
He looks so cool though. That scene with both hammers. And then the lightning.
I don't know if I've got. Yeah, I don't know if I have it loaded. But when the hammer, when Thanos splits the shield and causes that big gash in it, that shield drawing was straight out of Secret Wars, the original Secret Wars.
Yeah.
That's what his shield looked like at the end when he's fighting. It looked like Pac-Man with a big bite out of it.
That's
he's
pretty
fighting
cool.
with it. They shaped it based on the Mike Zeck drawings of Cap's shield.
I wonder what his sword is made out of, because that's vibranium, right? And he just tore that to bits. So I'm like, all right, well, what kind of sword are you working with, man? We need to melt his sword down.
He cuts him. He has a big gash, and Captain America tightens up the strap as like as a tourniquet, and just keeps going.
Well, that's when he stood up. He tightens it, and he looks, and you just see Thanos with an entire army, and he's like, all right, let's do this.
There's a great comment from Carlito. It says, I think that at the time, Cap wasn't worthy. So he's talking about
when he moved the hammer?
When he first moves it in Age of Ultron, he can't lift it yet because he's holding on to a dark secret, which is that he knows
the Civil War with Tony
killed Tony's parents. Holding on to that is making him unworthy of the hammer yet. And then, of course, Civil War, confessing and all that, and then he becomes worthy of it.
Wow.
I've heard that.
If it goes that deep, I could imagine what Thor's secrets are about things. Like that Captain America can't even pick it up. Because when it comes to Mjolnir, the only way to wield it, like if you're gonna wield it, you also have to have the ability to kill, from what I heard, or something like that. You have to have the ability to kill to protect or something. So I thought that was part of it. Like,
so does Thor have lightning powers, or is it just the hammers?
No, he's not God of Hammer. Remember?
I know. So how does Captain America use lightning in the hammer?
The hammer has power too. So I don't know but remember they say whoever can lift it, you'll have the power of Thor. So
that's the scripture that's on the hammer. Okay.
I know that in the comics,
Captain America is just like
so far. Right? For a long time, it went so far as like you picked it up and you would actually change. And they kind of do it in the movies where all of a sudden, like Thor's beard is braided and he looks all, he looks all.
They did it in Thor number 1.
Right?
He all number 1 versus the Destroyer. He changed
That's
it.
how we get Jane Foster. She picks
Hey.
up his hammer and she
Yeah.
turns into Lady Thor, right? Or
Even
Doctor
her
Thor.
hair- and in the comics, even her hair changes color.
React to the Disney Plus shows and trailer. WandaVision looks so weird. It's gonna be amazing. I'm looking forward to that. I've never read anything with Wanda or Vision in it, but I've always seen there was a Deadpool cover of Wanda and Vision. Gorgeous books, man. So yeah, no, I definitely want to. There's a trailer. I should probably watch that. But yeah, no, I'm excited for Disney Plus. I seen the Mandalorian show, and it blew me away, like the production value and everything they did for a TV show like that. So if they're gonna do Marvel shows like that, I'm all in. That's
Right.
insane.
Spend that money. they got to spend that money to make it cinematic. Because if they could bring cinema to your home, then that's a game changer right there. TV shows like that. Like it was one thing with Daredevil and all of these. That was the breakdown of the TV shows. That's what was difference between the CW and the Netflix TV show with Daredevil and all of these. That it looked very cinematic. And then the Mandalorian even touched upon that and went further. So now if they continue, we're gonna have some crazy TV shows, which is better because they could expand the movie and actually explain different things. But I'm pretty sure there's gonna be questions. So Thanos' sword was a magical enchantment like the hammer.
That's why it comes back to him when he throws it. Oh snap! I didn't know that. Very cool. Like a boomerang.
Imagine he touched himself. I missed.
Just reverse back time real quick.
Then you gotta say you gotta tell lies like, yeah, I got this scar when I was fighting the Avengers. Little did they know.
Yeah, what did happen with that?
The Tesseract between
he
Loki,
picks it up. He picks up the Tesseract and he's gone.
he bounced.
And
That's the Loki TV show. It's going to take over from there.
oh, from that point, that's
what I was
freaking
thinking,
cool,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of Loki through time, and I hear young Loki is gonna have a big part in it. I don't know how much Hiddleston is gonna be in it, if he's gonna be in it a ton, or if they're gonna have other actors at him at different ages.
What about female Loki?
Female Loki's hot. In the comics, yeah, female Loki's hot.
She gonna come in.
When he picked up facts. Wanda, you took everything from me. Thanos, I don't even know who you are.
Right? So good. I love that.
Oh, dude. And then she rose up and carried everything. Oh, man.
You will. You definitely will. Yo, she could have. Oh man.
You gonna remember me. I'm
Well,
gonna make you rain fire.
Captain Marvel's gonna totally beat him up, and she's doing everything, and he just grabs one stone off and then punches her with it.
That was
crazy.
that was pretty cool. That I can't lie. I was like, damn. And just the sound effect, you could do so much with just the sound effect. She sounded like a missile going off.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she's not coming back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab that and punch you with it.
My thing is, did it hurt Iron Man to assemble those gems on his gauntlet? Did it hurt him like it did with the Hulk? You get me?
He died.
Yeah,
No. When he first got the energy, was that painful? Because remember when the Hulk got that, he was in pain and he was like, and then I got it. Don't worry.
So you're saying he should have shown more pain.
As
No,
he was
I was
putting it
just
on.
questioning. Like, did the suit, I guess, deflect that part of it? I guess
Maybe.
I don't know.
Secret Chili is saying the suit was collecting the energy for him.
Yeah,
Maybe.
there you go. All right, makes sense.
That could have been it. And then he snapped, and then he seen his arm and his side of his face, and everything was just
And then he says,
gone.
I am Iron Man, which is from the first movie. Which
Oh, that's
brings
from the
back
movie.
here.
Oh, that's so cool.
"My friend made that for me.
That's awesome. Is that wood?
It's cardboard. It's
I need
cardboard."
friends like that. Yo, Perry, what can you do?
I
I
can play Gears.
Oh my god. Oh no.
He's a super Cuban Jew.
Exactly. Endgame, Thanos was trying to decimate the universe, and he was pissed the Avengers decapitated him. Dude, he watched them chop his head off. Of course, it's gonna be personal,
One of my favorite moments in your rewatch was when they chop his head off, and then it's like going and you're like, oh my god, they did like a whole movie in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, in the first 10 minutes, look
It
at
was
all
the
of
first
this.
10 minutes, and then the credits came for
Right.
Avengers. I was like, oh my god.
And you're like,
Bananas.
holy crap.
You're like,
The
what?
way-
I went
the
in
way-
head.
I don't think there's another Marvel movie that starts off so dark.
Right.
With Hawkeye losing his entire family and just not knowing what is going on, and then half of Shield is gone. He can't even, and then he just goes on a killing spree. He's killing cartel members. He's killing people all over the world.
As Ronin.
Yeah.
He's
I don't know.
TMNT.
Did you remember when that book was all hot spec book? That Ronin book.
Which Ronin?
Was it?
It's the New Avengers book.
New Avengers line. I have it. Ah, man. But I ain't getting it. You feel me?
Mine's buried. Yeah, it's buried.
Is
but
that a new book?
The first appearance of Hawkeye in that costume as Ronin with the sword was like a huge spec book because everybody was like, "This is coming. This is going to be part of Avengers Endgame." So that book is like a $50 or $40 book now. I think.
Damn.
Because everybody's like, "Oh, it's the first appearance of him in the suit," and then now they're going to show it on screen.
Ooh, look at that, TK. You can see the stones going into his body. That's kind of crazy.
He took it more as a man than the Hulk.
Yeah.
Nah, imagine. Man, I wish I seen a ultimate battle between the Hulk. At least the Hulk and like half the army, and he's just going through them and just throwing them. My bodies are flying. They're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
I gotta say, one of the coolest moments, especially when I rewatched it, I was like, "This is so badass." Was Spider-Man activate insta kill? And he just said it so instantly. It's like finally used it. And then you just see the spikes on his back just start killing everything like crazy. I was like, oh man. Oh, that was so cool.
That was so sick. That was a sick moment. That Iron Spider.
There was another moment that reflects a comic book moment when you have Hulk basically holding up the entire building that had just collapsed to try to save
the issue where he's holding up the Oh wait, he did that.
Oh,
too.
was that like the issue? Because there's an issue of him holding up the Hulk letters.
Well, it
also happened in
one of my favorites is it's from Secret Wars again, and it's a bad guy drops a mountain on the Avengers, and Hulk catches it. And
but in the comics, he's there for a minute,
dude. Yeah, so it's like the cover is like mountain, Hulk and all the Avengers mountain. Like he's just crushed underneath it, holding it up. And it says something like Hulk is buried under 1 million pounds of rubble and he's not happy. and they kind of recreated it in a cool kind of way.
Oh man. Let's see. Infinity Gauntlet was a better tool for holding the stones, maybe.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. The whole we had joked earlier in one of our other live streams that you were like, but how did he get the gauntlet? And I was like, they're going to show you. And then they show you where they made the gauntlet, and then he makes his new hammer. Dude, that's a cool idea, I thought.
That was really cool, seeing that. Number one, seeing Thor hold up the iris and getting hit with, it was like a mini sun.
Yeah.
And he's getting hit with a sun or a star. And it was like just enough to burn the raw materials to make the new hammer. And then I felt so bad for Groot because Groot looks petrified. He looks so scared on what's going on because he's like just hit puberty, you know? He just got a little bit of sap. And he reaches his arm out and connects the hammers. And bro, he gave his arm to Thor. That's a huge sacrifice, especially for like a teenager. That's crazy. And
is it huge that he could regrow it though?
It is pretty huge, man. I wouldn't want to chop off anything I could grow back. No, but like I think Groot's story is one of the coolest because we see him as an older man, an older adult, and then we see him as an infant, as a child, growing up through the stages, and then you see Rocket Raccoon in the beginning movies how he's a complete dick. But he's best friends with Groot. And then you see him at the end of Endgame, and there's missiles rain fire, and he jumps over Groot.
Listen,
to protect him like a father figure.
Groot has done something spectacular in every age form that you just described.
Yeah.
So as an infant, with the bomb, and he had to bring the bomb all the way down there, and he was mad small and cute. And then as a teenager as well, where he did that, and then Guardians #1 where he protects everybody.
Yeah. Oh man, that was awesome. I kind of want to see that again.
Well, and I think it all, at least as far as the Nidavellir forge sequence, what I liked about it was it set up so beautifully with like the lightning little sparkles, and then you cut to the battle in Wakanda, and Thor just his new hammer comes whipping through and kills all those guys, and then he's there, and Rocket and Groot are with him, and they're shooting everybody, and he's like, "Bring me Thanos," and he just starts killing everybody. So cool.
Oh man, when they're fighting in Wakanda and you see Groot put his arm through everybody and he looks like Captain America, he's like, "I am Groot," and he's like, "I am Steve Rogers." That was epic, you know.
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch over all
when
other.
Rocket meets up with the Winter Soldier, and he's like, "Nice gun, can I have it?
Can I have it?
What about that arm? Oh, I'm gonna get that arm."
Because he takes shit from people all the time. He's like, "Oh, I won this eye in a bet." No, well, I won credits, and then I went back and took his eye. You know.
He's like, "Oh, I would have."
Which is nasty because you know where that eye was.
Yeah, he puts it in the eye. Puts it right in.
He's like, "Hey, get some hand sanitizer for that eye," you know.
Oh man.
Mo keeps mentioning the scar on Captain America's arm.
Yeah, when he tightens the strap, as a tourniquet.
Yeah. I know he's basically like bleeding out in some way.
I mean, he got stabbed. He got sliced up because he got stabbed in the leg, in the thigh, the right thigh, and then he got sliced right here. And he was just all beat up, but that's Captain America. You feel me? Boy, right there.
Everyone likes Cap. Let's see.
Spider-Man. What about the reunion between Spider-Man and Iron Man?
Dude, he stopped in the middle of an entire war, like in the battlefield, and just looks at him. He doesn't give a shit what he's saying, and he just reaches over and gives him a hug. Like he's just so happy that the kid's back, you know?
Hijo mío. And Spider-Man's like, "Oh, I like this. I like this. Father." Where's Uncle Ben?
Right.
Oh, why is no one talking about Captain America's ass? That's America's ass. Dude, and then he's fighting himself, and then when he beats him up for some reason, it looks like he's sticking his butt out a little bit because he's laying on the floor, and you just see like this big meaty ass. And I'm just like, "Oh man, are we supposed to be looking at this?" Because I see it.
Well, he even says all of his best lines, right? "I could do this all day," and he's like, "I know
enough." That's my
shit. That scene was really good. The one that he's actually choking himself out as a young one. Yeah, but then if you go back to when he fought Bucky, when he fights against the Winter Soldier and he's choking him out,
same move,
the same way. It was just crazy.
Alive. And I think that was one of the things that the reason I'm willing to give the time travel, like I don't stress over it, and like it doesn't ruin it for me, all the little questions you have, because what I did like about Endgame was it sort of spent time revisiting all of the Marvel universe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we go back to where we had the first Guardians or the second Thor. We go back to the first Avengers movie.
That shot with all the Avengers in that first movie. Oh.
I think it's nice that it just sort of like revisits these vital moments in the MCU and gives them a slightly different perspective, and then goes on and tells its own story at the end. So I do like that portion, and it's what redeems the whole time travel mess for me.
I want to know how a Vision, like a ultimate fan of Vision, felt after Infinity War.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so many people were one of the books that spiked and was a complete bust was the first appearance of the White Vision, right?
Oh, the West Coast Avengers,
right? And they have this Vision, the version of the Vision. Everybody's like, "Oh, look, he turned all pale and white at the end of the movie and Infinity War. They're gonna bring him back as the White." And no, that didn't happen at all.
No. Oh, damn.
Those people got screwed. I was like, I bought 100 copies of this book, and it's not.
I mean, they're thinking it's happening in the TV show as well.
Now they're hopeful. Well,
hey, they're holding on the whole. They spend money. They're like, "This some bitch better come."
Right? I just bought 50 copies of this book.
I maxed out all my credit cards.
I said at the house.
Oh my god,
that's America's ass. Also, metaphor for him following orders. Oh, right. I guess. Yeah. John Cummings, kids. You should fill Perry with.
Oh yeah. When Cap gets in the elevator, right, and you're like, "Oh, it's like just like in Winter Soldier when he's in the elevator with all those guys." Then he whispers to the one guy, "Hail Hydra," and then they give him the staff, and he walks out with it. That's a line from the comics that pissed a million fans off.
Recent comic too.
Right? recently in the comics, they had a storyline where Captain America says "Hail Hydra" and reveals that he's an agent of Hydra.
Sure.
And we didn't, and people were livid. People lost their shit over this, man. It was a big deal. And they basically were teasing and making fun of that moment in the movie to have him actually whisper "Hail Hydra,"
which was great. Which was
it was really good because he played them like a fool, you know, because he made them think because they're really, you know, Hydra. So that was awesome. I like that moment in the movie.
So Mr. Edgy's got a long comment there that says, Avengers 1, I'm always angry. Avengers 2, like the old man said, together. Avengers 3, bring me Thanos. Avengers 4, Avengers Assemble. Okay. He's just highlighting some of the great lines, I guess.
White Vision and going to be in WandaVision, apparently.
Everybody's saying that, yeah. And I don't know. I just think it's hilarious. I don't usually buy based on spec stuff. I buy on like what I like. And if it's spec, that's great. If not,
I buy a lot of Lobo.
But like, it's hilarious to see somebody maybe buy 100 copies of White Vision, hoping that they're going to spike, and then have that go busto. It just makes me laugh.
How do you think they'll introduce X-Men and Fantastic Four? I heard a theory that when Thanos snapped, there was like a lot of radiation on Earth, so maybe that mutated people into mutants. I don't know, because where are the X-Men? Where's Fantastic Four at?
I know a lot of people have different theories on how that's going to play out. I know that it'll be the Fantastic Four that we see first, because I think the X-Men thing is still a long ways off. They got the rights to the FF back first, so they probably started planning and setting up those things. And the X-Men thing is, I think, further down the line. But I would be excited to see how they do it. I think there's a lot of theories on alternate dimensions and some of that stuff playing in. I know some people are hoping that they'll set up a Secret Wars and that they can bring in characters they haven't brought in before and set them into that world and then introduce them for the first time in an event like that.
So the Sony movies, are they going to tie in? You think Sony's going to like do something with?
Yeah. I think either Venom is going to be with Spider-Man or Spider-Man with Venom.
Because I mean, they got Madam Web, dude. I mean, they could go wild with her. They could literally every time we see Madam Web, she's completely different.
I feel like you have.
Do I look like her in the chair?
He's gone down on Madam Web so many times. It's kind of crazy.
Gotta dust those webs off. I got the major feels when Iron Man reunited with Spider-Man and hugged in Spider-Man Homecoming. Peter Parker thought Stark was gonna hug him, but he was just opening the door to the limo.
Yeah, man.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, this film, it's a lot to dissect. Like, there's a lot of Easter eggs. There's a lot of going back and forth, and it's awesome. It's like you hear something brand new each day. Like, after that film was made, after I saw the film, like, there was things that I missed and that people kept pointing it out, and I was like, oh man, you're right. From this film, from that film, and it's just like, oh man, what a great film, what a great freaking journey with the MCU. And Perry did everything in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hey, Master, I think you left a comment on my Endgame video for, I think it was the Comic-Con panel that's introducing Phase 4 of what they're planning to do. So I'm going to watch that sometime this week.
Nice.
So that looks, I'm looking forward to that. Okay, next slide, Younger Cap. Cap with the Spectre, it could branch a timeline for Hydra Cap due to the Stone's influence.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen.
That's true. Anything can happen. Let's see. What did he say? Thanos snapped his fingers 3 times.
My question for you, Perry, is more about your channel. So, I mean, a ton of people are asking, well, what's Perry going to watch now? And I feel like he's answered that a bunch. There's a lot of things on his plate. He's got a huge list. And if you want to do the whole Patreon thing, you can start suggesting movies to him and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to go in a completely different direction, which is there's always going to be new Marvel movies.
Sure.
How do you continue to do your Marvel movies? Are you going to just not watch them in the theater and just wait and try to dodge spoilers for like 6 months and then watch them on your channel?
Yep.
Oh, man.
I'll probably just do it like that, you know?
I'm just curious. I feel like it's impossible to avoid spoilers.
Oh, I'm going to spoil everything. Yo, I can't wait.
Because it's all memes. Everything's a meme now, right? Everything has to be a meme and a joke. So, like,
learning that Tony was dead, right? Yeah. I knew the big spoiler of the movie. Right. I don't even think that affected anything of the movie.
Well, plus you had seen Homecoming.
I seen Homecoming, yeah.
Well, you seen Far From Home, and they mentioned that he's dead in that, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so much that happened in the movies that it's kind of hard to even explain everything that happens in the movies to spoil it.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. That makes
yeah,
sense.
so I think I'm just gonna
People
go
could-
with that route.
people could spoil it for you for certain parts, but it still doesn't matter because it's the way
The
you
whole
see
experience of the
film.
movie,
The
yeah.
whole experience of watching the film is just different, and I understand that. Yeah, I could see that. I can't wait. You crazy? I'm in the movie theater right there. First premiere, day premiere right there.
Actually, John, you were talking about the page. I should have 4 requests to watch movies this week.
Nice.
Source Code from 2011.
That's a good freaking movie, dude.
And
that's
is
that's
that
one of the
good?
ones. Yeah, that's one of the ones from David Bowie's son. You know, the singer David Bowie. His son makes movies, and that's one of his. I love Duncan Jones. He did the World of Warcraft movie.
Oh, that was great. I love World of Warcraft.
It's the same filmmaker, but I think
awesome.
Source Code is a far better movie. It's a time travel movie.
Oh, there you go.
Jake something.
American Ultra, which I watch. I just got to edit.
Okay.
Donnie Darko, which I got to watch and edit.
That's
with
two
Jake.
Jake
With
Gyllenhaal.
Jake, yeah, with
That's
Jake.
another one.
Yeah, well, with
Oh,
the
damn.
same actor.
Source Code and Donnie Darko.
And then
And
I got
he
the
plays- he
Planet of
plays-
the Apes.
Okay.
Which one? Which one?
He said to watch the first one to the modern trilogy.
The newest one.
Okay,
yeah.
so the newest trilogy,
Yeah,
not
so
the one with Matt,
Those are good.
not the one with Mark Wahlberg, and not the older ones.
Not watch that movie.
Well, I'm gonna watch that one, and then I'm gonna go back and watch the originals.
That's good.
I
Yeah.
like the Mark Wahlberg one. I don't know. It's not that I like the film. I just like the villain. The villain in there. I thought he was cool.
No, so yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal is also he plays Mysterio in Far From Home.
Second.
Yeah,
How's the
Second-
whiskey?
second
You want to know
favorite.
how the whiskey is? I feel like I just grew a bunch of chest hair. This thing is so strong. Oh my god! I don't even have ice. I think I'm gonna put water in it. But no, I do appreciate it. Thank you again for the whiskey. I will be sipping on this throughout all my reactions I do from now on. I'll be sipping on some awesome whiskey.
I do love what is it? Madison, I think. Madison says you can have people comment fake spoilers too, so you won't know what's right or wrong.
Yeah, like the Ant-Man going in Thanos' butt. I was waiting for that to happen.
I think we should honestly have like a campaign to come up with the most outrageous, ridiculous fake spoilers and just dump them in every one of Perry's live streams. So that he has no clue how to dissect
Decipher, yeah.
the real and the fake.
That's true.
Or we just come out with like 10 spoilers, and we just see which one Perry thinks is the real one, and then the movie drops, and it
Andrew
comes out
Garfield
different.
Ooh,
Spider-Man.
John says you got to add water to that. It's 126 proof.
What does that mean? Proof? I
That
don't
means you're
understand the
done.
proof.
That means, look, Thanos.
Someone's gonna snap me. All right, I got some water here. I'll put a little water in there.
I use ice in mine
What kind
personally.
of Spider-Man is that movie?
Andrew Garfield. That's
Yeah.
the second Spider-Man, kind of. I mean, if you want to see it like that.
Because someone told me there was a Spider-Man that came out in like 2012, 2014 area.
There's been several. I think they've done 3 different versions just within the 2000s.
Favorite costume is the Andrew Garfield one. I think the Andrew Garfield one had some crazy swinging action that I love.
That sounds like Austin Powers. Had some crazy swinging action.
that I feel like the new films are lacking in. I feel like this guy needs to swing more and go through things and be Spider-Man. You get me? Rather than grounded more. I don't know if that makes sense.
He does like a lot of like acrobatic flips and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like you could tell like he probably did gymnastics or something because I feel like you see that in him.
Yeah. So
Way
John G's trying to help you understand percentage of alcohol and proof and what it means. So it's telling you how much alcohol is in
This
your
is
beverage.
63% pure
Right.
alcohol.
The Americans,
Rubbing alcohol is 70.
Americans like to do things their own way. And so we don't use percentage as often as the rest of the world. We use proof. And proof is basically just double whatever the percent is. So roughly 129 would become about 60 something, 63.
You
It's
can
just a
count
way
me.
to know.
You can count on me to say nonsense to Perry.
There you go.
How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah, I've heard that was a pretty good one. That's an animated movie, right?
Yeah, those are kids' films.
Look, that's the photo right there. That's the dragon right
Oh,
there.
that's the dragon from the film. Oh, you
Yeah.
seen the TK? Very cool.
I've seen one of them.
Perry, please watch Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogy.
Who's
plus
doing that,
Pirates of
man?
the Caribbean.
That's gonna happen. You can count
Yep.
on that.
It is definitely coming. It's on the
Love
list.
the Lord of the Rings.
I think I'm gonna hit up Die Hard before I go into Lord of the Rings, though. I've been asked that so many times to watch Die Hard, so I got to do it.
That movie holds up really well too. I think because they don't do they do a ton of practical effects and not digital effects. And digital effects age so quickly.
The guy who did Die Hard also did Iron Man 3.
No, the guy who wrote Lethal Weapon and all those movies.
I love Lethal Weapon.
Wrote Iron Man 3 and directed Iron Man 3.
I see. I haven't seen Lethal Weapon either.
The guy that did Die Hard is John McTiernan, the director, and he's done a bunch of stuff. And I don't know. Let me look up his stuff. I know, like off the top of my head, it's Hunt for Red October, Thomas Crown Affair, the new one. John McTiernan is awesome.
Hunt for October, isn't that a James Patterson book?
It's a
or a Tom Clancy book.
Tom Clancy. Oh, he did Predator. That's what he did. He did Predator.
Oh, I gotta watch the next Predator.
So Predator and Die Hard are directed by the same guy.
Timeline. There you go.
I still want to see Perry watch Mother with Jen Lawrence just to see the confusion and what the fuck face.
Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence. I never seen. It's called Mother. I'm reading a book called Red Mother, which has been really good and really annoying at the same time. Let's see. Pirates of the Caribbean is a dope trilogy. Dies out after part 3. I think I've seen the first 2 Pirates of the Caribbean movies when they first came out.
I'm gonna go against Mo and say I think it died out after the first movie. All the Pirates of the Caribbean sequels are like hot fire garbage.
Let's see. Undertale, you have a YouTube channel. I'm gonna sub you up. There you go.
There you go.
They don't want to sub TK. TK, you're about to hit 500 subscribers, right?
Yeah, I'm creeping there. I'm creeping.
Drop your link. Drop your link. There's got to be a few
I'll do
people.
the links. I'll do the links.
There you go. You got to hit that 500 subscriber. Let's see. He did Predator. Yeah, I did the first Predator. I was watching a video on TikTok that said Predator is actually a robot from Skynet. Like they had like this giant theory behind how they're all connected, and it was like pretty interesting.
Was it like the Snowpiercer and Willy Wonka?
Kind of. Well, why does a predator skin? He skins the humans to see if they're robots or not. When Predator, what's his name, Arnold Schwarzenegger throws a knife to stick around, like it's obviously no one can throw a knife that hard and that fast unless you're a robot. Hey man, I'm just saying it was pretty.
What robot you know that does that? Nah, man.
Already summed up the TK. There you go. Opinions on Spider-Gwen. Does she have her own movie?
Spider-Gwen from
she was in the cartoon
Into the Verse?
Into the Verse movie.
Spider-Verse?
Yeah, I've seen that one. That was really good. I've seen that
a cool character.
I thought she was great in that movie. I enjoyed it.
That's the link to TK's channel. I just dropped it in the chat. He is at 479.
Gracias.
Hit that 500.
Right.
Then I retire. That's it. Then I snap.
Done.
I hit it.
It's hard to search for your channel, though. I tried just searching TK's Batcave, and it was like a ton of stupid crap came up.
I don't understand how I pick like the worst, craziest name to search, and then I see everybody else's names, and I type it in, and it comes out normally. For me, it's just like
it's honestly the YouTube algorithm. They want to support videos that have already like proven will have huge hits. So a new YouTuber coming up, they're like, you're not worth our time. We would rather give
the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, dude, it happens to us all. I mean, it still happens to my channel, and I create shitty content all the time.
Far From Home, I'm gonna watch it tonight, so it should be up sometime tonight or tomorrow morning. Yeah,
I just love what they did with Mysterio.
Please have Emma Stone return to play Spider-Gwen. Oh, that reminds me, Emma Stone. I'm not sure if she did this movie. Hunger Games. I think that was a franchise.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Is that worth watching? Is that good?
I like those books a lot. I think the original Hunger Games is a great movie. I don't like the sequels as much, but they're good.
I mean, my girl loves it, so I mean, I don't know if that's.
You're gonna do a bunch of DC movies too, right, Perry?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with. I think it's Man of Steel.
You're gonna do the current Zack Snyder stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the current stuff, but then I want to go back and watch like old school Superman stuff. Like I want to, because someone told me there was DC movies and Marvel movies from like the 80s and 70s.
Yeah.
Christopher
So I'm like,
Reeves.
yeah, I'm like, dude, I want to see like what were the boomers watching, you know?
Damn.
I gotta mess with John. I gotta mess with John a little bit. There you go. Ooh, oh, that's
Who does
Batman.
that? Hold
That's
up.
on Netflix. That's on Netflix, right?
What John can do, I can do.
I just keep him right here next to me, right?
Wow, I got hand sanitizer.
John, those of you who don't know, John has a movie library next to him of all physical media.
Damn.
Yes, this is why he is the movie guru.
I have a lot of movies.
He does.
Yeah. I'm right next to the kids' movies that I keep most of the comic book movies are good for my kids.
John, let me ask you a question. Do you collect DVDs, Blu-rays, VHS, or what?
I have all of this. I still have a VHS player, a legitimate VHS, and it works. But I use that TV setup for my N64, which still works, and my GameCube, which still works. And so like I play some of the old stuff. My girls love GoldenEye. They'll play GoldenEye all day.
Ooh, GoldenEye.
Yeah. When we had
Golden
Fire Guy
Gun.
Ryan came down, Comic Tom's buddy, Fire Guy came down, and we played GoldenEye like for a legit hour, all four of us.
It's a great game.
It's hilarious.
It's funny now, playing it now. I played it not so long ago, like 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, the graphics.
Like
But the sound effects and the maps, like it brings back memories like no other.
Sure.
Every
Nostalgia.
first-person shooter game I've played since then, I'm like, it's just not GoldenEye. Like GoldenEye is such a better game. It's such a better game. I just wish we could expand each of the levels when you're playing.
You got to play Gears of War, John.
I know where every
Totally different.
corner is on every level of that game. Whenever you're playing against somebody,
You
have
know,
to-
like the secret passage?
oh yeah,
like-
I know
like the
all,
secret
I got
room?
all of it. My girls hate playing against me, even though they play 2-on-1. They can't win.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get a Spider-Gwen movie. I mean, we're getting a Madam Web movie, which is like one of the most oddest characters to make a solo
How many
movie
times do
about.
we talk about Madam Web in one live stream?
They could. They could.
I feel
change-
like there's like a major troll by Sony. Like, hey, we have all of Spider-Man's like villains and side characters, but we're gonna give you guys Madam Web.
I feel like they got to change up that character. I don't agree with her in the Spider-Man cartoons or in the comics.
Whoa! You can't touch her in Spider-Man the animated series. She is legitimately
she's
one of
what?
the coolest
In
characters.
the chair coming out of nowhere.
I think you're
She
missing
works,
the-
dude. She works right with the Beyonder. Come on, dude. She is one of the craziest,
That's how it ended too.
mysterious.
It ended
comics.
with the Beyond and her in their conversation. The
Let's see,
Spider-Man animated
Mask. I gotta watch that.
Mask of the Phantasm. Yeah,
I think it's on Netflix now.
That's
it's
my
really
favorite
good.
Batman movie.
Yeah.
Personally.
It's
I mean,
really
I really do love Dark Knight, and I really do love the Lego Batman a ton. But for me, it's Mask of the Phantasm.
Let's get Phantasm in the Beyond,
Gangs
the
of
Batman
New York.
Beyond film.
That sounds cool. Gangs in New York. I like that.
There's a comic
Yeah,
coming up where Batman's going to meet Batman Beyond for the first time, right? That's like
Isn't
a
Batman Beyond?
No.
So
Batman Beyond is Terry McGinnis. And
sure. Yeah, I know.
Well,
but-
Batman. In his timeline, he is Batman. Is what you're trying to say? Yeah, like they.
Well, he has a Batman Beyond suit, so he wore the suit, and then Terry McGinnis stole the suit,
Yes.
and then became Batman Beyond. But Batman wore the suit before, so technically Bruce is Batman Beyond. He just passed the mantle down.
Right.
I mean, if you're calling the suit Batman Beyond, then
Yeah, I'm calling the suit the suit with the red thing, and he's all skinny. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, guy.
That's Batman Beyond. You know, no matter who puts it on, you're still Batman Beyond.
so
Well,
he just changed his
when
name.
he wore it, he would just call himself Batman.
Batman. That's what I'm saying. That's what
And
they.
then he retired and he stopped using the suit, and then Terry stole it and started going by Batman Beyond. Although I think
That sounds weird.
because
like-
don't they still call him Batman?
I don't know.
I
They
don't know.
they call
They
Batman
still call him
Beyond Batman. They don't call him Batman Beyond.
He goes into an
Beyond
alleyway.
is coming.
He goes to an alleyway. Stop, criminals! I am Batman Beyond.
Stop right there.
uh,
Batman Beyond.
yeah, she's in My Cousin Vinny.
Yes, you've
Yeah.
seen that movie?
I love that movie.
Yeah,
we got mud in the tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My biological clock is ticking just like this.
You're gonna shoot a little baby deer.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's very fault.
Action.
Totally my fault. I take full responsibility. Actually, I have a video called "Who Are They, Madam Web?" So if you don't know anything about Madam Web, I teach you all about Madam Web, and there's not a lot to learn.
There's no way a single person watching this is going to go and click on that. There's no way. It's not going to happen.
That video
never
shot
know.
up a little bit.
Never know.
Like see, Spider-Man, poor Uncle Ben doesn't have any say in this.
Everyone was just tired of Uncle Ben and everything. They're just like, you know what?
Too much Uncle Ben. He's tired of getting killed over and over again. There you go.
Over and over again.
But yeah, no, I am going to actually decompress, and then I'm gonna play a little bit of video games. But I'm gonna jump on Spider-Man: Far From Home tonight, so that should be pretty good. I'll have that up on Patreon, and then I'll edit it. I'll probably have it out like Tuesday, Wednesday, and then actually I'm just gonna drop it right after Taxi Driver.
Bro, you still haven't dropped that? I was so sure you dropped that a long time ago.
I watched it like 2 weeks ago.
He's still scared to edit Clockwork Orange.
I can't.
Oh
do that.
yeah,
I watched it and I want to go back and edit it, and every time I do, like something in my body just tells me not to. I feel like I'm scared of the movie in a way, you know.
I love it. I love it. I
It's
told you
like
that movie
disturbing.
messed you up. I told you.
It is. It is pretty disturbing.
Yeah, it's a very disturbing movie. It's a great movie, but it's still very. I don't ever need to watch it again.
When you see Uncle Ben die more than Bruce Wayne's parents.
I mean, all these superheroes, if you look closely, these superheroes come from a death in a family. Ooh, you saw that?
Ooh, there you go.
But yeah, I mean, you got Spider-Man, you got Batman, you got Superman twice. Like, you it's insane. You could go down the list. I know there's a lot of superheroes because I was going back into the golden age. So I'm starting to collect like golden age stuff. And
he
I
better
was reading through it.
TK is rich, man. He just got a slideshow statue, and he's like, you know what's even better than that? Golden Age comics.
Yeah, but you're getting confused. I never said comics itself.
You're not gonna get called Golden Age comics. You gotta get.
I'm getting some big books. But anyways, this is the book I was reading that informed me about it. That was really good. The Boy Who Loved Batman.
Whoa!
And what an interesting story it is so far.
Whoa, that's a creepy cover, dude. That's like that Superman cover where the kid's crying and Superman's behind him.
But yeah, man, he was just talking about it. Yo, the guy in this, Michael, he actually purchases. Like, I'm gonna give you a quick story. He goes to the store and the comic. His best friend at school tells him, like, hey, listen, there's this new comic out with like 4 superheroes from like the Marvel teams or for new superheroes or something. He's like, what? He was like, yeah, it's like, I don't know, like Spider-Man and stuff like that. And he's like, that can't be right. So he goes to the comic book shop and he looks through the comics and he finds the Fantastic Four issue #1. So he picks that up. And then the guy that owns the shop was mad at him because he was going through the comics. So he was like, not only do you have to pay for that 10-cent comic, you have to pay for the other 3 that you kind of went through and messed up. So luckily his mom gave him 30 cents that day extra. And he bought 4 copies. And then he said he had it all the way and then sold it for like $60,000 each.
That's a pretty good investment.
That's
Can you believe that? Why can't I have a cool story like that? Instead, I have a dog that doesn't love me. He goes crazy. I don't understand. I got receipts. I got bills. I don't know.
Oh man! All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I want to say thank you to Mr. John for joining me. Thank you to Mr. TK for joining me. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for everyone for hanging out, for watching the replay. That's awesome. MCU has been a great journey. I gotta watch, Far From Home. But yeah, man, I can't wait to embark on other movies, and then we can have other movie discussions about those too. So it should be pretty fun. But,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Dude.
Thank you, chat. Chat was crazy today. I love the chat today. I mean, they're always crazy with new movies, new speculations, and great conversations.
Oh, they had a lot of great knowledge to drop. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Anyway, au revoir. Isn't that how you say bye in France?
I think
they probably say it better.
Yeah, a lot better. Let me know. Just
I'm not gonna try
stick
it.
to what you know.
John,
Adios.
say goodbye in German.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Excuse me?